Good day, traders. Hope you guys are good and welcome to this week's segment of my market breakdowns. If you follow me on Telegram, you would know that last week we didn't have a breakdown because I wasn't feeling well. But fortunately, I've recovered and we're about to get some work done. Please take note that this Thursday, there's a video that's dropping. So if you want to learn more about what I'll be dropping this week, make sure that you have subscribed and also turn on your notification bell so that you can be alerted for whenever I upload a new video. Now, without wasting any time, let's get right into it. We're going to start by looking at EURJPY. And as you can see, we've been going up. Also, the market has retested previous structure over here, right, with this retest and this liquidity grab over here. Now we're just looking for signals to enter into this higher time frame movement. So we know from our main time frame that the market is going up. Now the question that you should be asking yourself when you go to lower time frames is, how do I approach this? How do I enter? So we're looking for signals on the lower time frame. Let's go to the daily. If you remember my weekly market breakdown from the other weeks, 2 weeks ago, we had an order here. The market broke it, hit our stop loss, and I said the other level to look out for is actually this one over here. So that's where I had my other limit order. Now the market has been going up, right? And we want to add positions. One thing I know will happen is that the market will go for this area of liquidity over here, right? Now I'm not sure what will happen next, but what I'm expecting is a breakout from this area, a retest and a continuation to the upside. So this is what I'm expecting. If we get that, it means that we've confirmed this double bottom. Right. As you can see right here, this is a WOW pattern because the market has come here in the form of a counter trend, went into an order block, and now has moved to the upside. This demand area over here has actually broken through structure, so it was confirmed. That's why we're able to get this. So this is what I'm expecting on USD. I'm on EURJPY. Let's move on to other pairs. Now we are on EURAUD, the weekly chart. As you can see, the market went up, went into this higher time frame supply area, almost retested the supply, nested supply, and now went down. So for now, we know that weekly or monthly supply is in control. And judging by the supply and demand curve, we're in a supply territory. It means that the only setups that we're interested in on this pair are selling setups. Even if we get a buy signal, it's probably low probability because on the higher time frame supply is in control. You need to also consider the fact that we've been making lower highs and lower lows on this pair. So consider also the fact that we're in a long-term downtrend. Now let's go to the lower time frames to see what's happening there. So on the lower time frame, you see this, you're in an ascending channel. The market broke out of this with a false breakout, came back. This is an impulse, this is a correction, and the market is about to form another impulse. So I actually sent a signal on our Instagram page signaling that you should take this sell, right? Why is my take profit so far? Is because I'm using my main time frame, the weekly time frame, to decide my targets. Remember in my other video that I posted on identifying high probability areas, I did mention that there's a time frame hierarchy, right? So if you already know about that, then you'll understand why I did this. If you don't watch those videos, the links to those videos will be made available in the description box below. But anyways, yes, I'm using the higher time frames to decide on my targets. Now, my first target will be right here on the scale of liquidity, equal lows. And then my second take profit will be here. So these are my sentiments on EURAUD. We will not be looking at this pair for a very long time. Let's move on to other pairs. Now we are on EURGBP. And as you can see, we're in this long-term consolidation Consolidation just means equal amounts of buyers and sellers directionally in this market. Now you can see that the market is approaching our demand area. The market is approaching our demand area over here. Now let's look at this demand area. It's fresh. Look at the time spent away, hasn't been retested. So looking at this, it is possible that this demand area, even though it does not hold in the long run, but then we can probably get good signals over here, right? So this is what I'm expecting on EURJPY, movement to this area and this area to hold. Now it's this area of liquidity where I'm sure most of the retail traders have their orders because of this is an area of support to them. So this is where I'm expecting the manipulation. I'm expecting the market to print a movement that will lure retail traders into buying because this is an area of support for them, and we're going to get some sell stop liquidity. Now let's go to the lower time frames to see what's going on. So this is what I'm seeing. Now we're on this area of supply. We are going to approach this daily. So this is where the area of liquidity is, right? I'm expecting the market to drop. As you can see, it's reacting off of this supply. Remember, we go with what the higher time frames are doing. So because on the higher time frames, if you look at the supply and demand curve, we're in a buy territory. Even though high time frame demand is not in control, we need to wait for the market to retest that area of demand before we do anything. So that's what I'm expecting here. If I'm not going to buy off instantly, I'm going to wait for this area after the market has reacted on this area to break some structure before I can buy. But then these are my sentiments on EURGBP. Let's move on to other pairs. We've been looking at the same pairs for a while now. I think it's about time we looked at other pairs. Another pair is AUDJPY. As you can see, this is a clean setup. Area of supply, so the market has to make its way all the way to the supply area over here. And we recently got the breakout of the structure, a retest to order blocks to fill in this gap over here. Now the market is reacting off of it. In this instance, demand is in control. Monthly demand is in control, and the market has to make its way all up to that area. Remember, the market moves from an area or from a high to a low and a low to a high, especially if we're dealing with currencies, right? So in the long run, the currency will always remain within a range, right? And if it breaks that range, it forms a new high or a new low. So this is what I'm expecting to see on AUDJPY. Let's go to the lower time frames to see how we will approach this pair. So as you can see right here, on a high time frame, it looked like a gap. On a lower time frame, it actually looks like it was a hidden order block. The market broke the structure over here, came back to this order block, and now it's reacting off of it. We're expecting the first movement to upside to actually retest this area of liquidity. So this is where we're going to take our first take profit. But then in the long run, I'm expecting the market to go all the way up here. If we are going to hold, or us holding this trade until this point, will actually depend on our discipline. But then, yeah, it's where it's supposed to go. Maybe we'll take profits along the way, continue to add positions. I don't know. But then, yeah, that's where our take profit should be. This is what I see on the weekly chart. The market came into this area of demand over here, nested demand, that is, and it's reacting off of it. For extra confirmation, we have this area of demand over here, which is nested within the high time frame supply. This market has, or this demand area over here has resulted in a break of structure over here, as I've highlighted. The market went back to retest it, and now it's reacting over it. Now, we actually late into this trade. It's only a matter of us finding other setups, right? Because we missed this one. So what I'm expecting is the market to break through this area, right? It's not perfect, I know. I'm expecting a breakout to this area and the market to go back to find an order block before we can take a buy. But then, yeah, these are my sentiments on AUDJPY. Long term, we are buying on this pair, and we've already seen, or we've already gotten our confirmation. Let's move on to another pair. Another new pair that we're going to be looking at is CADJPY. As you can see on the monthly, demand is in control. We have this order block here that has resulted in a break of structure. The market has come back to retest it, and now it's going to make new highs. Now there's an area of liquidity over here, equal highs, which I think will get some manipulation of this area, but in the long run, we have to retest at least this order block over here, or the supply area over here. How the market reacts of this area of supply, I don't know. Will it hold? I don't know. I can't tell. But what I do know is that the market has to make its way to that area to fill in the orders that are unfilled, right? So let's go on to the lower time frames to see if we can spot an opportunity. We've jumped all the way to the daily. And as you can see, we have a new area of demand that is formed over here. Right. So what I'm actually expecting on this pair is for the market to break some structure. On these areas, either this one or this one, and then make its way back to retest an order block. Now, it might not make its way down all the way to this order block before going up. But if an order block forms here, like this candlestick over here, if an order block forms from this candlestick over here, then I'm expecting the market to retest it before going up. So like this. But this is what I see on CADJPY. Similar to what I saw on AUDJPY and EURJPY. I'm expecting movement to the upside. So yeah, let's move on to another pair. So on gold, we're going to start afresh. As you can see, we're in this long-term uptrend. The market was busy correcting, forming impulses, correcting, forming impulses, right? We have this area over here where the market last went to. This is the highest it's been in a very long time. And now we're still in that consolidation. But as you can see with this consolidation, there's an area of liquidity over here, right? And the market seems to be making its way all the way down to form or to fetch this liquidity over here before going up. This is my sentiment on gold. Now, why do I think it's going to go all the way down? Apart from what we talked about the previous week, there's this large week where orders have to be filled. So we have this week that has orders that needs to be filled, number one, right? And then number two is this gap over here that the market, it's not a huge gap. It's not a huge gap, but then I know that the market could go into this area. After fetching liquidity over here, remember what happens. You get a liquidity grab, the market finds an area of unfilled orders, and then use those unfilled orders to activate this move up. So there's a possibility, please bear in mind that there's a possibility that the market will not go all the way down, right? But from what we're seeing, this is the image that we're getting, right? Also, you can look at other things, like this trend line over here, like this trend line over here. I don't look at trend lines and I don't suggest that you do the same, but if it's a part of your strategy, you can also use that as extra confirmation, right? You can say that the market is forming a triangle, however you want to think of it, but main chart is that we're in a consolidation and the market has to retest lows and fill in orders before activating the movement to the upside. So this is what I'm expecting on gold. Let's go on to the lower time frame to see if we can't get any confirmation. So we have equal lows over here, which represents liquidity, right? So already we know that there's money resting here, and this area, this price range is where a lot of retail traders have their buy orders resting. So it could be an area or potential area of sell stop liquidity. So this is why I'm saying the market seems to be making its way down to this area. And then if it does make its way to the downside, then we should take that trade and use that, or use those retail orders that are coming to the downside to activate our buys. I actually sent a signal on gold, but I did mention that it was a low probability trade. And we took the sell over here. And as you can see, this is the progress around it, right? Where I'm taking profits, I'm actually considering moving my take profit all the way to the downside. But reason why I placed this sell, although it's against my strategy, was because there was this area of demand over here. Area of demand weak, right? This area of demand is weak, and I suspected that the market was eventually going to break this. For extra confirmation, I had this wedge over here, and it actually did. Now, taking into consideration the liquidity that I said the market has to fetch, that's why we see that the market is making its way to the downside. There's no way that this area is an area of demand, because go back to that lesson that I posted on tradability, or how to confirm areas of supply and demand. If you have an area that's, or a potential area of supply and demand that's too wicky, like this one over here, that's a red flag already. So this area, even if it can hold price, it's not a high probability demand and supply area because of this wick over here, right? Maybe I'll upload a different lesson on wick fields, but then this is all you have to know. If you see a large wick, consider it as a gap, but not like a high probability gap, in a sense that the market eventually has to go back into that area to fill in the orders that are resting on that area, right? But yeah, these are my sentiments on gold. Let's move on. To DXY. Now, DXY has been behaving as anticipated all the way, and now it's retesting this area of supply. What I think will happen on this area of supply over here, I actually think that the market will break through this area of supply. Look at the amount of retests that are occurring on this area. Look at the time spent on this area with this movement alone, right? We have multiple retests on one level. Remember what I said about compressed or congested price action on a single area, on a significant area. It eventually breaks it. So if it does break it eventually, I'm expecting the market to fetch liquidity, come back for an order block before going up. Remember, from the other weeks, we've established that there are unfilled orders on this area over here, which is why I have this dollar sign here. So this is what I'm seeing on the dollar index. Anyways, these are the pairs that I am watching this week. Make sure that you subscribe if you still haven't, liked this video if you've gotten to this point, and also subscribe to my Telegram channel to see the announcements that I may have on that channel, like our business pages, and I'll see you again on Thursday. For now, peace.